another episode of Scott's Quick Cash Class, where we go through a different finance topic every day for 5 minutes. So today we're talking about stop saving and start investing. So everyone always tells you, hey, save. You got to make sure you save. You got to make sure you save, which is correct. I mean, we ought to make sure, we have some money in our savings account and stuff like that for emergencies. But realistically, your savings account should really only be used for saving up for bigger purchases that you're not putting on a credit card, or for those emergencies, an unexpected doctor's visit, your car. I just had I thought it was a regular brake issue. I thought maybe I had to put some pads on it or something. One of my vehicles, took it in. Unfortunately, it was $1,600. I had to get all 4 lines replaced on my vehicle. A little nervous about that. Fortunately, I had a little bit of money in savings. But we want to talk about what the difference is between savings and investing. Right now, 50% of Gen Z out there, they don't think they have enough money to invest. And that's really scary that half of the younger group out there doesn't think they have enough money, because that's really how you're going to get to that next level. And there's different ways to find it. You can start with just $10 or even less if you go through something like Acorns. There's a lot of different apps out there like that, but that gets you in the mode to start investing. It lets you do that in very small amounts. People who invest are 5 times wealthier than people who just save. Let that sink in for a second. If you're saving your money, you're basically going to be 5 times less wealthy than somebody who's investing in the stock market, or your friend at work who's investing in the company's 401k and getting 401k matches. Those are things that you guys need to do in order to get to that next level, because really it's about behaviors. One of the behaviors that successfully financial people do is they automate their savings or their bills. They automate their life. I can speak for me and my wife. It automatically comes out of my paycheck every 2 weeks. That way I don't have to remember. Now, we have some other investments too, and we'll talk about those down the road, but everything is set up to automate. That way I don't have to remember to invest in myself, because that's really what you're doing when you're investing. You're paying yourself first, and you're investing in your future. And that's really the most important thing is current Scott preparing for future Scott? Because future Scott wants to have a lot of fun, and if we don't have money, it's going to be really hard for future Scott to have fun. So think about your future self. Does your future self 5 years from now want to have options, or do they still want to be at the same job, or do they still want to be broke, or do they still want to be wondering what they're going to do? When you have money like that, and when you have investments and options, it gives you options. So really think about that. A couple different things that you can do for investing. I'm not going to get too in detail about these. That you can definitely ask me some questions in the comment section if you want to, but some really basic ones are mutual funds, EFTs, which stands for electronically traded funds. They're a pretty easy tool to use, and you can do those through your 401ks at work. You can do that through a Fidelity or Vanguard or a T. Rowe Price on your own. You can open up your own 401ks. You can open up your own Roth IRA, which you can do $7,000 a year in your Roth IRA. Well, and that is tax-free at 59.5. When you go to pull it out, you pay no taxes on it. So you put it in now tax-free, you get it out later, or after taxes now, and then you get it out later tax-free. That's a pretty huge advantage that a lot of people might not think of until they get older. But if you start using some of that now, that's all tax-free money that you get to pull out later, which is huge. All right, so question of the day is, what's stopping you from investing? We talked a little bit earlier about 50% of Gen Z, they don't think they have enough money, but what's stopping you? Even $10, because you can get started on Acorns for even $10. So what's stopping you from investing? And then tip of the day, start thinking of savings as for your short-term goals. Hey, I want to buy this car, or I want to buy this other thing. That's what you save for, but investing is how you get rich. So think about that. You don't see any of the world's wealthiest people going, hey, I saved my money, right? They all invested, whether it's invested in a business, invested in themselves, or invested in the stock market. They all invested in order to get wealthy. So Thank you for joining us on our journey. Don't forget to give us a comment, give us a like, ask some questions, and join us for the next episode.